Hey, hi everyone. So this is Vinod here. Today we are going to be seeing another very interesting topic. This is a topic that often is asked to me both in emails, chats, and other means. They ask me, Sir, I feel that someone is closely monitoring me. Wherever I go, they are able to identify where I am. Is it really possible to track a mobile phone's location? If yes, how are they doing? How are the attackers able to identify where I exactly am? Right? So we are going to be addressing that. Before that, I would like to get started with the code of ethics. I want you all to do consider this material for research and educational purposes only. Any skills or technique that you might have learned or acquired from this material should be used only at your own discretion. These materials are only to make a positive impact in everyone's life and not cause harm to anyone whatsoever. Hey, hi everyone, my name is Vinod, and today I'm going to be covering a very interesting topic. This topic is called How Attackers Track Your Mobile Locations. It's a pretty interesting method, and if you ask me, it is not a straightforward technical hack, it is more of a social engineering attack. Okay, what is social engineering? We would have heard about computer science engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. What is it? Social engineering, right? Social engineering is an interesting art of using non-technical means, right, and trying to lure a person, the victim, do certain activity through which you hack them, right? It's majorly a non-technical attack, right? So what is non-technical attack in here? For example, making them click a link, making them give away some confidential information, something of that sort is often considered to be a stepping stone for a larger attack called the social engineering attack. So before we get started, I would like to quickly show you the screen that you're seeing right now is the Kali Linux operating system. It's a fresh Kali Linux operating system, and let me also show you what I have done. Maybe I can remove this. No, that's not required. So here what I've done is I've just gone to this particular application, Seeker. Okay, Seeker is a very interesting application. However, it is not a part or bundle of Kali Linux. We have to download it from GitHub, right? So the interesting part is what you have to do is simple. You just got to follow these 5 commands. Once you follow these 5 commands, see, first you're doing a git clone, which means that you're downloading the repository to your local machine, right? Number 1. Number 2, you're getting into that directory. Number 3 is updating the repositories locally. 4, installing Python 3 and pip. What is pip? Pip is a command line interface module for helping Python 3 install its core dependencies, right? Pip3 install request. So these two are directly relating to Python and Pip3, right? So once done, we are over, right? So let me show you what all the commands that I have entered. So yeah, all I'm going to do is I go here, right? So here I say cd desktop. Here I have Seeker, right? So I go to Seeker. Excellent. ls is directory, show list directories or list files, right? So what I'm going to do is I already tried installing. Let me do that once again for you. Let us quickly see what is the file that is the installer file. I think that is an installer file. Any which way, let me wait. Okay. No, we already have installed, and hence it says requirement already satisfied. Excellent. So what I'm going to do is I am simply going to execute Python. Please pay attention of what I'm saying. I'm saying Python 3, which is the Python. I'm just going to run the seeker.py, which is a Python file, and I'm going to say -t, which is tunnel. What is the tunnel mode, right? And I'm saying manual. Manual means I'm saying I will manually configure it. Okay, but I want you to understand when I say h, right, the tunnel mode port, default port is going to be port 8080, right, which means that I don't need to say something like this. You understand? It is default as this. Okay, now I say manual. Am I clear? Number one. So once that is done, I want you to understand it is popping up with a message like these. Right? Very interesting, isn't it? So I want you to know now I am also going to download something or install something on my system called the ngrok. What is ngrok? What is ngrok? Ngrok is another very interesting small little tiny utility. See, you are in right now in the given scenario, you are in an intranet. You are inside your house or you're in your organization or anything. You are in an intranet. You have a private IP address and you don't have a public IP address. Obviously, you have a public IP address, but it is a NAT map public IP address. NAT as a network address translated public IP. So, which means that someone from outside world cannot directly reach you. Am I clear? Okay. Having said that, let us see what is ngrok. ngrok is a small little utility. When you install it in your system internally, the private IP of your intranet will now become a publicly accessible system. Am I clear? You can mention which port, and that particular port will now be accessible from the publicly reachable IP address. Am I clear? It's a very simple. It's almost like making the system a DMZ zone. Right? What is demilitarized zone? You actually make a internal machine reachable from the external world, right? Likewise, we are doing it, but the change here is we are not opening all the ports like a DMZ zone. Instead, we are just saying a specific port from outside world, right? So let's go to ngrok. I go to ngrok. Sorry, my spelling mistake. Okay, ngrok. I log into their site, and once I go to ngrok's website, there is an option to log in, and yeah, let's give it some time. So it's asking me for login with Google. I'm just logging in with Google account. I'm just going to be logging in with my personal account. Okay, it will now ask me for a two-factor authentication. So let me log into that. So I have got a message from my Google saying, "Is it you?" I'm saying, "Yes, it is me." Okay, after I said it is me, you can see that I get logged in into ngrok's official website, right, to my account. See, please pay attention. Before logging into the site, ngrok does not know it is me. After logging into the site with my username, password, or my token, which is Google token, they know that it is a person called Vinod, right? Okay, now see, they have a first, let us download this, right? So I am downloading it to my local system. ngrok software, a small little software I have downloaded. All right. Now, after downloading it, I cut it and paste it right in the desktop. Okay. And I also say extract to desktop. Excellent. I have extracted it also to the desktop. Am I clear? Wonderful. I close this. Now I copy this one. Please pay attention. I copy this one. This is a authentication token to tell the ngrok.com website saying this client, which is now unzipped, right, is Vinod. Am I clear? Please pay attention. What I'm going to do is, okay, it's probably not unzipped. Okay. I say unzip. I say cd desktop. Unzip ngrok. Okay, so ngrok, if you see, there is a application now. I deleted this off. This is not required. So now all I have to do is do a right click, paste selection. So we are pasting ngrok auth token, etc. Wonderful. Now ngrok.com website knows that the installed software, this software, is from Vinod's computer. Correct? Okay, excellent. Now I will close that. That is done. Maybe there's one small thing that's additional required, right? Let me say /ngrok HTTP. I'm saying open the HTTP port on port 8080. Tunnel me HTTP. Look at this. Okay, I have to do it inside desktop, right? Sorry. See, please pay attention. It says this is the URL with which you can access my computer from the external world. Am I clear? Right? Let us try that. Okay, so there is a connection that's happening. It says the connection to was successful. Tunnel to ngrok client, but the client failed to establish a connection to the local address 8080. You know why? Because I have still not run the setting. See what I'm doing, I'll tell you in short. I am trying to do a phishing attack. Okay, where I create a page which looks like Google Drive, which looks like WhatsApp, it looks like Telegram. Okay, and when you go to that link that I give you, right, it will pop up a message to you saying share my current location. Have you ever noticed that? Okay, let me show you how it works. And this is my Windows machine. I'm saying HTML5 geolocation demo. When I say that, please pay attention. I don't know if I'll go to the first link itself. See, please pay attention. It's very interesting. I am just going to this website once again. Please pay attention. It says the HTML5 geolocation API is used to get the geographical position of the users. Since this can compromise privacy, the position is not available unless the user approves it. Okay, you know what approve they're talking about? Please pay attention. When I click on this, right, do you see there is a pop-up message that comes like this? Yes or no? Right, so that's called the pop-up message or the approval. Now please imagine I say it's okay, allow. Look at what happens. Beautiful. It actually shows me the exact location of where I am right now. Okay, it's using multiple techniques, but yes, I want you to understand a geolocation HTML5 geolocation API offers the exact location where you are from, which is a lot more precise. No, which is a lot more precise, unlike your public IP address, because these work based on multiple factors, including of your Wi-Fi's mesh network, including of your proximity of your ISP, including of number of hops. All of that are considered before HTML5's geolocation. Okay, now please pay attention. I say I want to create a Google Drive lookalike page. Okay, it is asking me for a Google Drive URL. Do I have any random G drive? Let me see, drive.google.com. Let me do some Google search of some random. Let me tell you what I'm kind of going to do. Drive.google.com. Okay, I'm just trying to. Okay, it's a not Google Drive. Okay, there is a Google Drive link here. I don't know, some random Google Drive link. Okay, this is also not the right link. Okay, another link here. Again, bad request. Another link here. See, what I'm going to do is I am going to try making them redirect to this link, nothing else. Redirect to this link. Upon they click, let me show you. Wonderful. I think there is some. Well, okay, excellent. Now, having said that, there is some Google Drive link, right? I am just going to paste that selection here. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, there is what we are going to do is we are going to give a geolocation 5 pop-up to the end user saying, hey, allow, share my location. Once they share, we will redirect them to this Google Drive thing. Let's see this. Okay, look at this, beautiful. It's saying starting PHP server success. Wonderful. Okay, let's see what happens here. Now I go to this URL again. Let us see what happens. Beautiful. See, I want you to understand this link, right? This link which we got from correct, which we got from here. Okay, it's not popping me up with that, so okay, that's fine. So I go to this one. Here also you can see here, this is what I open. It says these two are the two IPs, I mean URLs that you can give, which is both HTTPS and HTTP, right? So I will tell you what is happening. I'll repeat. What we have set up right now is a page which looks like Google Drive page. You give a link to someone who is on the internet. They click on the link will come directly to the intranet system of mine locally here in private IP, which they usually can't access. And once they come here, it will pop up a page which looks like Google Drive's page with the request permission page. When I click the request permission, what happens is it pops up a message to the end user and say, hey, please share the location. So if at all the user clicks share, allow, deny, when most of the times when pop-up comes with allow, deny with the Google interface, there are high chances they click allow. When they click allow, we exactly are able to capture their geolocation, HTML5 geolocation, both the longitude and latitude. Let's see this. Let's see how it works. So this is the URL with either of this. So I just take that URL and this is the URL that we have to give, right? So imagine I go to bit.ly. In bit.ly, what is Bitly? Bitly is a URL shortening utility, correct? So what I do is I give this URL and say shorten. So once I click shorten, it gives me this kind of a URL. It is now more non-susceptible, right? People don't suspect it as much. Am I clear? Please pay attention. It is not as much susceptible as it used to, right? Okay. This is a email that we will have to send to someone. You understand what I'm saying? This is something that we have to send someone. Imagine, I want you to imagine this link you somehow sent to someone on WhatsApp, on email or anything. Okay. Now, imagine this is my Windows machine. Okay. I minimize all this. Okay. I minimize all this. Now, this is my Windows machine. I have minimized all my Kali Linux virtual machine. I want you to imagine I got an email along with this link. Which link? I'm sorry. I want you to please see this. Imagine you are getting this link. What will you do? On an email, there are high chances you might click on it, right? Okay, considering it is like that, I also say yes. Let us see what happens. Now, this Bitly gets redirected to ngrok. correct? ngrock.com. Now ngrock is made a tunnel to my virtual machine in Kali. Now what my virtual machine is doing is it's hosting a page which looks like Google Drive. Look at this. I click on request access. What is it happening here? I want you to pay attention. Where is it asking this information? This is a website that we created locally in our Kali Linux, and that website is asking share location detail. Am I clear? And imagine I click on this allow, right? Let us see what happens. It now gets redirected to the Google Drive that we just randomly found. You understand what I'm saying? So the end user might really not suspect anything because it's an actual G Drive page that opens after you give allow location. Am I clear? Now, having said that, there's absolutely no doubts or questions for the attacker, but now for the victim. But for the attacker side, let us see what has happened. Beautiful. Look at this. It tells the operating system is Windows 64, platform 32, the number of cores, RAM, all that. It's able to get some information, resolution, and all that, right? But let us also see there is an option. It says Google Maps. I copy link address and let us open that in this browser. Let us see what happens. Oh wow. This is a lot more scarier than I can think of. Wow. Okay, so it exactly shows my home location. So I just am wanting to close this. But yes, I want you to understand this is a very interesting attack. And imagine an attacker gives you an email or sends you an email or sends you a WhatsApp link, and in that link you just click on the link and say I accept or allow access, allow location share. Once you do that, the attacker already knows where you are exactly from. And the best part, you know what? As much as you have that browser page open, he can keep tracking wherever you go. Right? So that's something very interesting. So I thought I'll let you know. So this, imagine a scenario where you have clicked a link of someone sent you a long time ago and they are still able to track you where you are exactly. This is possibly the kind of technique they might have used. Am I clear? Excellent. And interestingly, I also would want to talk something very interesting about geofile location API using GPS and all, right? So applications like Uber, Ola, what are they? They are cab aggregators, right? They are cab aggregators. What do they do? They actually, say for example, you have an Ola app. In that Ola app, you actually call for a cab, and the cab exactly comes to this location where you call from, correct? So they exactly know which location you are calling from. Yes or no? That's how the driver comes to that exact pinpointed location. So it means that the app now knows, okay, say from my house, say I'm going to a mall. Okay, say I'm going to a movie. So from here, I book Ola or Uber or anything from my home to that destination location, right? So the driver already knows from where to where, etc. So I get into the car, he leaves me exactly in the mall, I get down the mall, okay? But tell me this, what are the chances that these kind of applications only track from your home to the mall? Because those applications always have access to your GPS, correct? Why can't it be after you get inside the mall? Why can't it be after you come back to your home, correct? In the mall, the mall might be very big. You might have Titan, you might have Pizza Hut, you might have Domino's, you have theater, you have gaming zone, etc. Right? They will now be able to track which place and which area you are inside the mall as well, correct? So as per the policy, they are supposed not to track, but you never know. There are a couple of instances where this has come into picture in the past, but I really don't know how much they have patched and fixed it. But I would strongly suggest you all please do take good care. Especially there are applications called GPS spoofing, which means you can actually say you are in a different location while you are in a location, right? So these are all things that I personally would like to explore. But yeah, so I hope you all learned something here, where we set up a Kali Linux instance where we are an attacker, where we create a link, attack, when a victim clicks on the link, it pops up a message to them saying share your location. When they click on share, you exactly know which exact pointed location they are from, right? So this is something that I was very keen on doing a small demo, and this also probably would have highlighted what are the possible attacks that an attacker can really do this period of time, right? So this is a very interesting social engineering come technology related attack. So I wanted to bring this to your notice, right? So I hope you all enjoyed this program. Please stay tuned for my next video, and until then, please stay safe, please stay indoor and take good care. All the very best. Do very good. God bless.